Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics then put themselves in quite a hole. They lost both their home games, which means Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat got a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals as this bad boy shifts to South Beach. And let's just say Miami kept their swagger. Max Strus with the 3. More transition is Caleb Martin leaking out. Miami's up by 10, second quarter. Duncan Robinson with the lob. Bam Adebayo with the flush. Adebayo with one hand throws it down, and if some is good, more is better. How about Bam with the nasty filth of a spin move on Jaylen Brown? That ain't no push off. That's just great basketball from Bam, who had 13 points. Martin's gonna find Duncan Robinson, who found the range. Miami's up 15 again, and then it's Butler going at Grant Williams again. I thought I told you that you can't guard me. Whose man is this? Grant Williams looking like, Boston down a bunch at the half. Third quarter, it got worse for Grant and the Celtics. Adebayo catches a body. He caught a body. Miami's up 20. Marcus Smart ain't getting a call. It's Gabe Vincent for 3, and Butler celebrating before the ball touches the net, giving Al Horford a little bit of his own medicine, letting him and the Celtics know they all need another timeout. And Joe finally called him. How about that? Vincent's gonna nail another 3. This all a part of his playoff career high night 29. And when it's not your night, sometimes in life it's just not your night. Bad shooting performances from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and really good shooting performances by pretty much everybody that checked in the game for Miami leads to a 128-102 win. Trust me, it felt like 26 was letting Boston off by easily. This game was never close. The Heat take a commanding 3-0 series lead. What's up, everybody? It's yours truly. I'm the one and only. I'm Hoops Pharaoh. If you're enjoying the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, you want to make sure you stay tuned. You're locked and loaded. Hit the subscribe button, and I promise you, you'll be notified as soon as your boy posts his next video. Now, enjoy the rest of this video. Thank you for the time, love, and support.
Robinson gets it to Adebayo, facing the defensive
Oh,
pro. What a move! And what a slam! Oh, a pirouette!
Well, give credit where credit is due. The Miami Heat have just simply been the better basketball team than the Boston Celtics throughout this Eastern Conference Finals, and it hadn't been close. Boston has competed for stretches of this game. Miami has simply been the better team at every level. You know, I'm looking at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and y'all got to understand who I am. I just made a video a few weeks ago where I said I would never break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, no matter what. That's what I said weeks ago. Now, I'm not 100% sold on breaking these dudes up now. I would give it a new head coach. I know what I saw between these two dudes under Ime Udoka last year in his first year at head coach. I believe there's still something to be had on that bone. I just don't believe Joe Mazzulla is the right guy. But I will admit to you guys this, even if Joe ain't the right guy, the way they going out is just sad. What do they go, 12 for 35 from the field? One goes 6 for 18. The other goes 6 for 17. They combine to go 1 for 13 from the three-point line. That's not good enough, bro. I don't care who's your head coach. The game plan ain't that damn bad. Like, come on now. Look, we've been critical of Joe Mazzulla. Go check my videos. We've been critical of Joe throughout these playoffs, and he's deserved it. The game plan can't be that bad. They just missed a lot of wide open looks in this game, and Miami did not. Gabe Vincent did not. You know, this game, think about this. Kevin Love gets injured early. They're already down Tyler Hero. I mean, they're pretty much just playing 6.5, 7 guys right now. Udonis Haslem won't get it a game, even though the fans were begging him to get it a game at the end of game 3. He ain't getting a damn game, so you can already count him off the team. Miami's playing with about 6, 7, 8 guys, and all these dudes are doing is playing their hardest. and they have mentally defeated the Boston Celtics. They're mentally, the Celtics are shot. They are a defeated basketball team. As a matter of fact, there's audio of Marcus Smart in this game saying, "We beat y'all last year. We good." What does that say? I'm already looking towards the offseason. That's you got it, bruh. I still got more money than you. That's what that is. I had more money than you first. I made it to $1,000 first. That's what that is. That's all that is. That's just denial. That's just not liking defeat, not being able to dish what you gave out, or not being able to take what you dished out last year, which the Celtics were celebrating. And now Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat are giving it to him 10 times over. I don't like firing first-year head coaches, but I do believe Joe Mazzulla has earned the boot. You know, now Joe's doing another thing that I don't like, right? So I believe he started these playoffs by not taking enough blame for the Boston Celtics' lethargic play. He was very defensive. Now he's taking too much blame, and I don't like either. And I thought Charles Barkley pretty much summarized that after this game, so I'll break it down to you even further. You know, Joe Mazzulla started these playoffs by saying, you know, we're good. Anybody going to talk about how good we played in this game? He was defensive. And that's undertaking blame, right? Like, you're really not trying to own up to your flaws, even though you know there are flaws that exist there. We all do it. Now Joe's going to the podium, and after this game 3, he said, I didn't have my team prepared. He said, I didn't have them. It's on me. And now I think he's giving himself over blame. I don't like that either. See, when you give yourself blame, to me, you lack humbleness, you lack instinct, you lack awareness, right? When you overgive yourself blame, oftentimes I believe you just trying to fit in the narrative and say the right thing, and you're not really going through and dissecting what the heck I did wrong in this scenario, and not really trying to be a better person from it. So if this, let's just use my wife. If me and my wife get into it and I say I didn't do nothing wrong, it's all on you. I'm going the underblame route. Clearly, there's something I could have did wrong. Even if her mouth gets on my nerves sometimes, which it does, there's something I could have did better. Every time. That's how I look at it. And I'm not perfect husband. Like, let's be clear. Like, you ain't going to hear me just try to be, like, perfect man. I am not him. That ain't who I am. I ain't never tried to be that dude. But every situation, I do believe there's something I could have did better. Damn, I could have listened a little more. I could have put my phone down a little more. You know, it's just, there's something I could have did better. Now, when I overtake accountability, I'm usually probably being a jackass. If my wife starts talking and she says, yeah, I think these are things we can work on, this, that, and I say, yeah, actually, I was 100% wrong. Yeah, actually, it was all me. It was none you. It was all on me. You see what I'm saying? You see how both of them can be, you know, kind of manipulating in their own different ways. That's what I think Joe Mazzulla, now he's playing the overblame game. No, Joe, that wasn't your worst coaching game. You know, look, there have been awful games where I thought Joe should have called timeouts. I didn't really see a lot of those moments in game 3. This was more or less Boston couldn't make shots. Now, I think what has lingered, whatever has lingered in that team, in that locker room throughout the season, throughout these playoffs, I think game 3 was a culmination, which means it might get ugly for game 4. It might get uglier than game 3. We shall see. Hopefully Boston comes out and plays with a little bit of pride, even though they're not on their home court. Now, I think game 3 was a culmination of the frustration that had been present for quite some time. You got to think this team made it to the finals last year, 6 games against the Warriors, the best team this decade. And literally a month or so after the finals, their head coach was taken away from them. Or maybe you want to look at it as like the head coach threw away a great opportunity. I ain't knocking either side of the perspective you're on. The truth is we really don't know the real truth because we don't know what Ime Udoka said or didn't say behind the scenes to whomever he had some type of sexual encounter or romance with, right? We don't know. We don't know how that thing was set up, how that played out. We don't know, right? But anywho, the Celtics lost their head coach, a team that a lot of these guys say that was their favorite coach ever. He's gone. And not only do they not go out and outsource a coach because it happened so late, they go take somebody from the staff that wasn't even on the front row last year. Joe Mazzulla was on the second row most of last year. They weren't even able to get their lead assistant. They lost him to Utah because of the timing of the Ime Udoka suspension, which obviously led to him departing. They weren't able to go get one of the guys that they wanted. And I think game 3 was a culmination of that frustration of the season that they've had. under their first-year head coach, Joe Mazzulla, and I would let him go. I would. And I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing that, y'all. I don't like letting first-year head coaches go. But this job right now, with what's at stake, with the success that Tatum and Brown have had together, with Marcus Smart as well, so young in their careers, to me, I got to go in a different direction. Too many good head coaches. This ain't the year of the free agent, ladies and gentlemen. This offseason will be characterized by the coaches. Like, there's a lot of big-time, big-name coaches on the market, and this is the year you go get him. This is the year you go get her if you think it's her. This is the year you go get a head coach that's of that yoke. And I just don't think the Boston Celtics can waste this opportunity. We'll see what they give. To me, Joe Mazzulla's job comes down to how they come out for Game 4. I'm serious about this. If they come out lethargic and get blown out even worse than Game 3, he's got to go. If they give me something, if I see something there, then maybe I could tweak something else on this roster. Hey, maybe I get on the phone. If I'm Joe Mazzulla, if I'm Jason Tatum, maybe even Jaylen Brown a part of that conversation, I go call Chris Paul. I get him away from one of them State Farm commercials. I say, yo, CP3, look, this is what we got here in Boston. Look at what you got here in Phoenix. Let's see who y'all get as a new head coach in Phoenix. Your contract is half guaranteed at this moment. Do you see the promised land for your first time with what y'all got in Phoenix? Or do you see them going in the direction of Devin Booker as point guard after he played sensational for most of the playoffs for the first 2 rounds that Phoenix was a part of? And do you see yourself going for another ending? Do you think we're just 1 point guard away? Joe Mazzulla could really use a floor general like a CP3. We throw around a lot of trades. I hear Damian Lillard to Boston, Damian Lillard here, Damian Lillard there. Everybody can't get Damian Lillard. Chris Paul to Boston actually makes a lot of sense. The Celtics could trade a couple of their rotation pieces to give Phoenix some much-needed depth. So, again, there's a lot on the table to me for Game 4. Even though the Celtics might not win this thing, they're not going to win this thing, actually. Whether they lose it in 4, 5, or 6, those are all on the table. I think for them, it's about keeping Joe in there if they want him there. And Game 4 will be a lot of that because Game 3 was not. This game was controlled by just great all-around play from Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat. Gabe Vincent had the best game of his career, and it happened on the biggest stage. Heat 1 game away from the NBA Finals.